Since she's just now getting up, you're all familiar with Mary Walton, longtime staff member. To my right, our graphic artist, Cindy Underwood. Next to her, Tina McCormick. Kim Tiger, handling all the registration for right ahead. Edie Seiler. The lovely and talented Mark Falsetti, editor and publisher of Hoosier Motorcycle. And in the back of the room, our operations director, Gary Williams. We have a number of program directors here as well, and the program directors and region directors will bring up at the conclusion of tonight's ceremonies to recognize with their gifts and accept some from them as well, if you get my drift. Looking back at 2009, we did some pretty incredible stuff. Some neat things that we hadn't done before. We were in the second year of MotoGP coming to Indianapolis. This is an international event that has incredible impact around the world in motorcycling. If you like racing, even if you don't like bikes, or if you like bikes and even if you don't like racing, this is a cool thing for everybody. Seeing these guys flying by out there to 160, 160 plus is pretty cool stuff. In conjunction with that, there's a pretty neat event that started last year with the inaugural MotoGP and continued this last year with the second event. Motorcycles on Meridian. It was stolen from Laguna Seca race of MotoGP, where they have an event out on Cannery Row, which is sort of a trendy little area with some bars and clubs and restaurants and shops. It was sort of a destination for motorcyclists to go out there, and they turned it into, they had a nifty little catchphrase for it, something on Cannery. It wasn't all that incredible, but we stole the idea and ran with it. We, ABATE of Indiana, had the opportunity to work with a number of groups, including Indianapolis Downtown Incorporated, the Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce, the Convention and Visitors Association, ICVA, the Department of Public Works, the folks that were responsible for the streets, the Indianapolis Fire Department, and the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. And what we did in the first year is we closed down Meridian Street in downtown Indianapolis from Union Station to Maryland, a couple blocks worth of it. And on Friday night it was pretty cool. On Saturday night it was even full, even more full. Spilled off on both sides of Meridian, on Georgia and on Maryland. Had maybe 5,000 bikes down there, and it was a really neat event. People loved it. We expected it to be bigger this last year in 2009, and it was. Friday night it rained, and we still had bikes from the viaduct there at Union Station up to basically Washington. So we had some bikes up in there, a lot more than we expected in the rain. Saturday night probably stood to have even bigger results. And the way it worked out, Williams went downtown and I stayed at the track to finish up some things we had there. We weren't even supposed to close the street until 6 o'clock, and the event was supposed to begin at 7. At 7 o'clock, some people had left. I think it was Mike and Edie, called me on the cell phone and said, "Hey, we can't get in." "What do you mean you can't get in?" "Well, they've got it closed." "Well, hell yeah, they got it closed. That's the whole idea. We closed the street." "No, I mean, it's closed. We can't get in." "It's one way going north. You got to go down to South Street to get on." "We know that. We're at South Street. We can't get in. It's full." "It's not full. It's 7 o'clock. There's no way that it's full," because we expected to grow. So we took from Union Station, from South Street, to the Circle this year. And that would be plenty of room. Certainly wouldn't fill up by 7 o'clock. Williams called me on the phone. I called Williams and said, "What's going on?" He said, "We're full." Both curb lanes and bikes down the center of the street. And at 7 o'clock, we were full. By the time the night was done, we weren't from South Street to the Circle. We were from South Street to North Street. Actually a block south of South Street to North Street. At least a block each way, both sides of the street, east and west. On Market Street, some on Washington, certainly on Maryland, on Georgia. We had 10,000 more bikes downtown. It was really cool. The sanctioning body for MotoGP, Dorna, took notice of that. Everybody had a great time. It was featured in the National Motorcycle Press. Some popular press picked it up. It's a neat opportunity, and we're involved in that. Those are the types of things that we're doing now. We're playing with the big kids and getting a lot of exposure for it. It's a lot of fun, and we're doing things right. The other thing we did that was new this year, the Indiana State Fair expanded their schedule. They went from 2 weekends to encompass a third weekend. and they wanted to have a motorcycle day. So who do you suppose they talked to about having a motorcycle day? ABATE of Indiana. So we hosted the first annual ABATE of Indiana Presents Motorcycle Day at the Indiana State Fair. Let me remind you that when somebody like Indiana University, or that red university down south, or the good university up north, Purdue University, have a day at the State Fair, it cost about $100 grand for them to sponsor that. And do you know what we paid to sponsor Motorcycle Day? Yeah, you guys know me too well, don't you? We didn't pay it for that. Great exposure, we had a wonderful time, had sort of a midway of our own. Did the Tiny Tots rides for kids, had a bike show, had some vendors set up, had the Indianapolis Motor Speedway there. It was just a lot of fun. Gear check station, had some dignitaries come out and visit us. We're doing a lot of things right. We need to be proud of that. We need to continue to do that. Not the least of which, what we're all about. Fighting for positive things for motorcyclists and fighting against those things that are negative to motorcyclists. Our legislative strength, our grassroots lobby efforts, that's what we really exist for. We need to continue to remain strong in those efforts. Not the least of which is right now we're in the middle, past the middle actually, of a short session of the Indiana General Assembly, which means there are only 30 session days. If you remember the last time there was a short session of General Assembly, we managed to get something done, managed to repeal a $10 unfair tax imposed on motorcyclists. Remember something about that? Yeah. We remain optimistic that we are going to be successful in this short session. Those of you who were at the fall seminar heard us talk a little bit about increased enforcement of handlebar height in some jurisdictions in the state in the last year or so. We want to make sure that we got that resolved. So with the help of Senator Phil Boots and Representative Terry Austin in the House, we have Senate Bill 31, which amends the Indiana state law for motorcycle handlebar height from 15 inches above the seat to a shoulder height of the operator. And that's looking very good. It's been through the Senate where it originated. We got to the halfway point. It was assigned to the House Roads and Transportation Committee, where Representative Terry Austin is the chair and is the sponsor, House sponsor of our bill. They heard it on Wednesday. It passed out of committee 11-0 and is headed to the full floor for second and third readings. So we're optimistic that things go well. Here before too long we'll have that passed and correct something that just needed updated. Not a major accomplishment. When you look at what it was doing and what we needed to do, and in the short session, it's pretty significant. So we'll be anxious to report back on that as that finally finishes. We also work with the American Legion Riders nationally. They have a national event that encompasses about 5 or 6 states. It moves a little each year. I'm a little embarrassed. I didn't know until this time that the national headquarters of the American Legion is in Indianapolis, Indiana. But they contacted us, and we did a training seminar for their road captains on this national ride. So again, when they think of something motorcycle-oriented, who do they call? They call us. You all continue to do this on a weekly, perhaps daily basis. When you go to work and wear your ABATE shirt and talk about what we do. If you're involved in the rider education program, you go teach a motorcycle safety class, you're doing this. Peter Phelps in the back of the room today went to a third House meeting at a little diner in Monticello, Indiana this morning and talked to a couple state representatives in the center about what's going on. Every time you do something like that, you're representing the ABATE of Indiana. You're representing the motorcyclists in the state of Indiana. That's what we're about, and that's what we need to continue to do. And those are the types of accomplishments we want to recognize tonight.